But August is busy and people are checked out. And so I don't know if you guys are feeling that, but one thing, and I feel like we're hammering this at you guys all the time, that I always have to do is to really stop saying it's hard. Because the more I say, oh my gosh, it's so hard, that's all I start to see. And I really have to start revamping like my own mindset of like, this is going to happen. I actually just hit Success Club today. I always make it a goal to hit Success Club the first week of the month. And I know I have some coaches who, if they get to the last week or so, it's just like, it's not worth it. I'll hit it next month. But in my mind, I will hit SC10 or higher. Like, it's just a non-negotiable for me. I have this mindset that it is. So we really want you guys to kind of take today, and we want to, before we share anything with you guys, with tips, we want to hear from you of kind of where you're at, what's working for you, maybe what you have questions on. Anything is fair game. You have myself, Katie, and Kendra here just to kind of be a sounding board for you. And we do have some stuff we can share, but we really wanted to hear from you guys first. Not like, don't just be Debbie Downers and say, oh, wah, it's hard. But if there's like tangible specifics that you need help with, whether it's your social media or connecting with people or those conversations. I know I've been behind the scenes with a lot of my coaches working with them on just conversations of how to have that. Katie, am I missing anything that we had chatted about?
No.
Okay. So yeah, we are just going to open it up. If you guys don't talk, we will start calling names. So we're going to make you talk. So I don't know who wants to go first, but we would just love to kind of hear from you this week. Oh, Beth Ann, perfect.
Hi, everybody. So I have to say I'm still at SC0, but I'm not giving up because I just started using the BAT tracker because I was a Teamsy user. So now I've been trying to get used to that. And I do like it. I think they've fine-tuned it pretty nicely. I used it in the beginning, like 3 years ago, but I think it's nicer. Yeah, I think probably for me, the most difficult part is inviting. But I've found that if I'm posting more and people are liking and commenting, that opens the door for me to be able to say, hey, if you're interested in what I'm doing, I'll reach out. So that's kind of where I'm at now, is just building that momentum and being more intentional and being more proactive on putting out content. We don't start school till the 4th, so we're like in the last throes of summer, and we're going on vacation in like 2 days. So I know back when September hits, I will be like, I'll have nobody at home, so I'll have tons of time to like actually do this. But that's kind of where I'm at. I feel good. I feel like I've done the best I've ever done, and I've showed up the most I've done. So I thank you, ladies, for putting this group together.
I'm so proud of you. That is awesome. I will echo, they absolutely fine-tuned that thing from what it was a few years ago. So you are so right. And you hit the nail on the head with what you said. I don't even know if you realized it, but where you said, inviting is hard, but the more content I have, the easier it is. And it's all like, it all totally bleeds together. Like the vital behaviors, if you don't do your personal development or your workouts, you'll feel like poop. You won't have things to share about and you'll be stuck. And then if you don't share about it and start posting about it, you'll have like, it all totally just bleeds together. And I feel like when you are inconsistent in one area, it really impacts the rest. Like if I'm not on, honestly, like a B+ on my nutrition, at least, because let's all be honest, we all have ice cream and pasta still. If I'm not like feeling good about myself, I don't talk about it as much because I don't feel like I can be authentic. And then like it all sort of bleeds together. So you, Vivian, like you hit that on the head. It's all connected.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
What else do you guys want to chat about? Alyssa, I haven't been consistent. I need to get back in the rhythm. Yeah, I think, Kate, you talked about that today, didn't you? Or was that you today? Talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, I was talking a little bit about that. I mean, I feel like, and I said to you guys in my live video earlier, it's like, in a way, I know like Abby and Kendra and Rachel and I feel this way as leaders. Like, we feel like sometimes we're beating a dead horse and we're like, we're so sorry that we keep saying the same things over and over again. But I think it's just like the consistency of what we know needs to be done in order to hit your goals. And I know like the same thing, like what Abby was saying, like Success Club 10 is a non-negotiable in my head. Number one, you're an Emerald and above coach. You're going to get paid leads for your business, double the leads that you would get if you weren't hitting Success Club 10. If you're serious about building your business, Success Club 10 has to be a non-negotiable for your business. So in my head, like same thing as Abby, and I was sharing this earlier about mindset. We all get in our own heads. This business is hard. It's not always easy, right? Just like any other business. But, with that being said, like Abby said, like if you keep saying that over and over again, then all you're going to think about is how hard this business is and that you're not going to hit your goals. So yeah, we can all think this is hard because it is. And August and September are hard months. December is a hard month. But if you're always like, I'm going to hit my goal, I know I'm going to hit my goal because I'm consistent with the business activity tracker. And that's the one thing all of us can say is when you're consistent with it. I think this is month 56 for me of hitting Success Club in a row. I've never not been consistent with my business activity tracker. To me, like the proof is in the pudding. I do it, I hit my goals. There's nothing, like no secret sauce. Now I'm not hitting Success Club 200. There may be a secret sauce to that, but I am hitting those goals of always, above Success Club 10. And, I was just thinking, I pulled up this message that I got earlier, and I wanted to share this with you guys because I don't know if you guys do this now, or maybe you did this before and don't do it anymore, but I used to, when I would invite people and people would, I'm going to kind of read this comment, but when people would reply back with what this woman replied back to me, I would kind of just leave it be. So I ended up inviting a follower of mine to Morning Meltdown 100. And she didn't respond until, over a week, 10 days after I messaged her. And I reached out and said, I wanted to see if you were interested in my accountability group and committing to Morning Meltdown 100. Looking forward to hearing back from you so I can get you some details your way. Her response to me was, "Hi Kate, thanks so much for reaching out. I was on vacation last week. At this point, I think I'm going to pass on joining an accountability group, but we'll certainly think about it for the future. Thanks again, Mary." Now in the past, I would be like, okay, I'll write Mary down. I'll reach out to Mary in a month, 5-6 weeks, whatever, check back in with her and see if she's ready then. But instead, what I do is I said, "Hi, Mary, I hope you had a great vacation. I appreciate you replying back. May I ask why you are going to pass on joining us? I look forward to hearing back from you." And that's really bold of me. Like the first time I sent a message like that, I was like, I may just puke. Because that's like really bold. And I would never respond like that. But she ended up responding back, "Hey, Kate, it's so funny that you asked, because I don't actually have a clear-cut reason. But I really appreciate you taking the time to ask me. I've done accountability groups in the past, but to be honest, I didn't really get anything out of the coaching aspect. The coach I had didn't really do too much. Maybe that's why. Although even to my own ears, that doesn't sound like a very good reason to not join you. But I love Beachbody workouts, and I do them Monday through Saturday. I'm currently working my way through Transform 20. I've had to adjust it a little bit. I like the program, but don't necessarily like the frantic pace. So I'm kind of in a mix between other workouts too. Unfortunately, I don't enjoy Shakeology. I've tried it different ways, including baking and cooking with it, and I just don't like it. But can you tell me more about your accountability group?" Mary just signed up with a challenge pack with Shakeology. I ended up doing all these voice messages with her back and forth, just listening to her, asking about different ways she made the Shakeology, how she baked it, what flavor she had, and really got to know her, which honestly, guys, maybe took 15 minutes. The messages that she left was like, "Thank you so much. Like, you don't even know me, and you just took all this time to get to know me. Like, my coach has been with me for 2 years and has never done that." And it was just very simple. And I don't know, I think like just that little extra touch. I mean, some people, when I reply bold like that, like sometimes they're kind of like, they don't know how to respond, like, oh crap, she's calling me out, but most of the time I get responses back like that, and they're scared to commit. They have a lot going on, like we all
She's
do.
talking to us, I guess.
you know, and I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys because I don't know if you guys kind of respond the way I used to and maybe feel like that's super bold. I don't think I could do that, but I wanted to share her response with you guys because a lot of times those are the responses I'm getting back for kind of going that extra step.
I love that, Kate. That's so good. And I love that you signed her up. I thought you were going to say you signed her up with the performance line. I love that you found Shakeology.
I started to go that route, but then
Yeah.
I don't know.
What did you, how did you get her to switch back to Shakeout?
I told her when I first tried it and I hated it too, and I thought everybody's drinking the Kool-Aid like they're all liars. This tastes like crap. And she was like laughing. She was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you for being so honest." But I'm like, the way I made it was just not the way I would ever make it again. And I told her how I make mine, in my blender every day. And she was like, "That actually sounds really good." She's like, "I never tried making it that way. Never tried adding those things to it." She was always trying like different shaker recipes. And so she was like, "I'm going to give it a shot again."
I love that.
Wait, Katie, can I just ask Katie, she'd never made it in a blender before?
No, she was only shaking it up.
That's why you have to ask questions. That's why you have to.
Totally. Like, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, you guys, that is such a great example as us as coaches assuming things about people that aren't necessarily true. So that is so great. What a great response. I love that.
I had one too I wanted to share with you guys because I had the exact same thing happen as Katie where I used to just be like, okay, no problem. Like, I don't want to annoy you. But I've been getting ones if it's like a cost objection, and I don't know if you guys get those, but I get them all the time. And so one that I had like a month or so ago was a gal that was like, she's always watching my stuff, always liking my stuff. Like, yeah, I can't afford it right now. And I messaged her back and it's like, hey, I totally, like, believe me, I get it. We were broke when I started too. But I actually have never shared the costs with you. And there's several different options. Would you be willing, like, do you want to actually hear it all? And she's like, oh, sure, okay, I probably still won't buy anything. I was like, no worries, let me email you all the info. So I emailed her like an image of the challenge pack breakdowns and all of those. And she responded back, she's like, oh, that's a really great deal. And she ended up signing up with a 160 challenge pack. So again, like when people are like, I can't afford it, I do respect that. And there absolutely are people who cannot afford it. But oftentimes it's a guard that goes up where they're just instantly going to think that it's, I don't know, however much they think it is. And she was like, oh, I can do 160. And I was like, yeah, see, you can. So just keep like asking those questions kindly.
Yeah, I agree. Is there anything else that you guys have like learned along the way that's like working for you guys as far as like invites that you're sending out or connections that you're making with people that you feel like, oh, this is a really great way to start connecting with people and building relationships?
Can I say something? A couple of times. Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. Go for it.
A couple of times, the same thing that Abby was saying was, and I keep it on repeat in my head. Like, don't judge somebody else's bank account. But every time I put like an extra thing in somebody's thing, they always get it. Like, I think I put in an Energize and a Beach Bar and maybe even a 3-day refresh the other day, just selling them, and they're like, okay, fine, whatever. I'm all, what? Like, I was blown away. Because she was like waiting for her paycheck to actually like buy this thing, and like when I wait for my paycheck, it's because I'm broke. But whatever.
That's
cool.
I kind of like, I think what Katie was saying earlier about voice messages have been working really well for me lately. I've especially with people on Instagram that are totally new people that I don't know at all that have been like following me or that like I follow, and they start watching my stuff. And a lot of them have been potential coach material and they're on my dream list. And so, but I feel like voice messaging brings people out sooner just because they hear your voice, they get a better sense of your personality. And so just conversation wise, it's been way easier to get to inviting faster when I use voice messages. And it also has been saving my hands from cramping from typing so much, which has been nice. And like, it just has been a lot easier for me than trying to like type it out, and it's faster and it seems to go over better.
McKenna, do you want to share an example of like something that you said in a voice message?
Sure. I mean, most of the time I just ask, I always start asking people like, what are your goals? Like, hey, thanks for watching my story. And that's usually a typed message. And then after that, it's just like, hey, those are great goals. And I make some connection with a goal they have, or ask about their summer. So, what's funny is I usually kind of ramble on my voice messages, but that's just like who I am. And like stuff comes out that's me, and you can sometimes hear my kids in the background. But also, especially with people who I think are potential coaches lately, I like praise their stuff over voice message, and I feel like that gets across better. I have this one girl in particular who has an awesome post, and she is just like right on track with like what my personal mission is too. And so like we hadn't talked a lot, and I just was like, hey, like I loved your post today, and like I just commented really specifically on her post and her page, and like just gave her lots of praise because I thought it was awesome. And just doing that over voice makes such a big difference. But those are, I can't think of super specific ones, but yeah. Sorry,
awesome.
more specific.
No, that's awesome. I think that's great. And Beth-Ann, I saw what you said. A lot of people don't know that they can voice message, and I do that a lot. People are like, oh, I didn't even know you could do this on here.
Yeah, it's funny to hear people, and they don't know how to use it.
Is it Laura? Laura, was that you that put? Okay. There's like a little, like where you would normally type, there's like a little microphone at the bottom. If you're on the laptop, you just click it. But if you're on your phone, I think you have to hold it. And then you can leave a voicemail. It's great. A lot of people are like, oh, it's so great to hear your voice. And then they're a lot more responsive rather than typing it out. So,
but on my Messenger, like I'm looking at it right now, and on my Messenger, if I press that little microphone button, it types out what I'm saying. It doesn't record me.
It's different on Messenger.
Oh, okay.
On Instagram.
All right. Okay,
so Instagram's a little microphone. Messenger, it's like the little 4 dots in a square. You click that, and then it brings up a record button.
Cool. Thank you.
And then you just hold it. Yeah, of course.
Heather, were you going to say something?
I was going to say, I have been reaching out to people just like by searching hashtags and stuff like that. And, if I feel like they fit with, my personality and I think they would make a good coach, I just reach out to them and say, hey, I came across your page searching the hashtag, whatever it is. I love your passion and dedication for health, wellness, and fitness. Are you a coach? And that has started so many conversations for me over the last couple of weeks. Some of them, I still have them going on. Some of them, have been the no, I'm not interested in coaching right now. And that's where I struggle, is that like, I want to respect that they, aren't interested right now, but I need to be bold in like asking why more. But the conversations are started, and, I'm planting those seeds. So I feel good about that.
And those are just like your not right nows, right? You can still keep
right. Oh yeah.
praising them and loving on them, and then they'll be like, okay, maybe I will take the time to get to know this chick and what she's all about.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
But that message has been working lately.
Awesome.
Just in terms of getting a response back.
Yeah.
So.
And which is like a really easy message to.
Oh my gosh, it's super easy.
And then it's like, yeah, and then it's funny too, because if they are a coach, it's like, oh, well, who are you with? Who's your
yeah, and then you just make a connection.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's it.
So I think these are such great examples, you guys, because I think it's a great reminder that, and we, like Katie said earlier in the call, we feel like sometimes we're repeating ourselves, but we make this business much more complicated than it needs to be. We don't have to get all psyched up about or psyched out about invites and talking about coaching. Those are great ways to do that. And simply doing voice memos, just as if you were like talking to a friend, makes that so much more relatable and like not such like a big scary thing. And so I love that we're touching on these things tonight, and we can remind each other that it doesn't have to be this overcomplicated process.
Yeah, and I think too, another thing that works really well for me in just developing relationships and making connections is like, what are the things that you guys love on Instagram? Outside of fitness and outside of nutrition, but do you like HGTV stuff, or do you like knitting blankets, or wildlife, or whatever it may be? But I've been like trying to connect with different people who have Instagram pages that maybe are just all about, decorating that home or fashion, and making connections with them, because it's really easy for me to tell somebody like, I absolutely love that room. Where did you find that stuff? Are you obsessed with home goods like I am? And making those connections completely outside of health and fitness. Or like, I love puppies and babies. So I love talking to people about their little cute puppies and their cute babies. But, just making connections that way. It doesn't have to be, fitness and nutrition. What are other things you like? Even if it's like, clothing for your kids, and you see other people's kids wearing really cute clothes, and talking to them about where they're getting their stuff, making connections, sincere connections, genuine connections like that on stuff that you do enjoy and you like, is super easy to get to know people and build relationships. And I feel like it builds a lot quicker on topics like that, because they already, like, they have their guard down, right? And then with people like that, I don't even they always end up asking me like what I do. I feel like I don't ever have to pressure them with an invite, because it just naturally leads like, what is that you're talking about? Because I am pretty much putting coaching or about an upcoming challenge group on my Instagram story every single day. I either have one or the other. So I feel like they can't miss what I'm putting out there. So it just kind of naturally leads to that when I'm making those connections. Even if it's like books that you love or an author that you like, I know a lot of times we kind of get stuck on searching for hashtags, or we're not sure like what to search or how to make those connections or how to make new friends. I mean, I just kind of think about those things like if you're a Star Wars fan or Harry Potter or whatever, making connections that way. Disney, I know Disney is like a big thing for a lot of people. But I just try to think about, there's so many people out there that you can make connections with that, have nothing to do with health and fitness. I'm just trying to see if what hashtags do you guys use? So I've been trying to use different hashtags. I don't know. I feel like hashtags are definitely kind of not a strength of mine, because I try, when I put a certain hashtag in, I try not to go for any that are at the top, and I search all the way towards the bottom, because they say less is more with the hashtags, because if there's only 20,000 versus a million, more people are going to see, because when there's a lot of say you did Fit Mom and it was 1 million followers, if you go to click on that page, your post will already be hundreds of people below. So if you end up going Fit Mamas and it ends up having 20,000 followers, you'll show up on that page, and you'll actually be, easy to find, and other people will see you, and you'll kind of stay at the top for quite a while. So when you are searching certain hashtags, that's what I do. I'll put in what I think that I'm looking for, and then I scroll all the way down and try to find the hashtags that have a smaller following.
One thing that I just learned too recently on a different call with a girl who does she's an actual influencer person, is she was saying that Instagram recently put in some sort of AI technology that can scan your photo. It's crazy, but it can scan your photo, and if your photo doesn't match up with your hashtags, it won't show up in those things. So she was don't get obsessive about this, like don't go crazy, but let's say you're hashtagging, like if I was hashtagging stuff about like toddler mom life, mom of two, mom stuff, and my picture didn't have my kids in it, it might not jive. So I really love, I think a lot of us use the Plan app, but I actually have hashtag sets. So I have like one that's like mom stuff. I have one that's like marriage stuff. I have like just generic, like they're general, but I kind of plug them in that way. And that way you're mixing it up a little bit. And then I'll go to like, for instance, I've noticed looking at my insights. And if you guys didn't watch the National Wake Up Call with Kelsey Hill, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. She talked about this a lot and it was really good. But I've noticed like if I post, people love when I talk about my marriage. Love it. So guess who's getting featured a whole lot more? Ben is on my Instagram. So then when I go to like, for instance, hashtag beating 50%, it'll show similar ones on there and I can click on those. But I also went and actually looked at who was following those hashtags, who was posting in it. And I went through the stories and guess what? There was a bunch of gals on there who love their husbands too. And they love Jesus and they're like, drive. So guess who gets followed? I go follow all of them. And so it kind of helps you expand your network that way as well. But just think about, like Katie was saying, the numbers, but then also mixing them up a little bit. Don't go crazy with it, but just like be aware of what your picture is versus what you're hashtagging in it.
That's good to know.